outside if you fucking with me. Oh, and I
want the smoke? Who want the smoke? Who want the who? Want the who? Want the smoke? Who want the smoke? Who want the smoke? Who want the who? Want the who? Want the smoke?
I hear shots coming on the low from hoes I'm hiding. This attention is so flattering cause they admiring. Don't know what's on their mind, but it should be retirement. If the AARP or this AR get the firing. They don't want smoke with me. The diamonds is choking me. They pussy need puffery. These bitches is 0-3. And they in the lower league, all in my ovaries. The fur on my shoulder mink. Tell me what hoe would think. I get the money. I am the king of New York. And I rock and saw and weave. I run it, I relay the wig. They talking, I'm taking it in. I did not come here to make new friends. To burn the bridge and I'm making amends. They don't want none. I say it again. They don't want none. I pray for their sins.
Boxing in the whip. I don't even smoke, but we do want the smoke.
What up? Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where the fuck you're at. And like Eminem said, I've been challenged to not say fucking for 6 minutes. 6 minutes, Slim Shady Ron. Fuck. Anyway, what's everybody? What's up, everybody? As always, your boy Oz in the building. And this one's going to be interesting. For two, maybe three, but two or three. Excuse me, 2 or 3 different reasons. But before I proceed, I want to plug three things really quick. I'm trying to think the order here on the dates. And please forgive me, I haven't slept in like 2 days and I've worked like 4 or 5 days in a row nonstop. So it's a little scrambled eggs right now. But yeah, I have a really busy day or evening Monday. So earlier in the evening, I think it's 5 or 6 o'clock Eastern time. I'll be on with Cindy Plaza on her channel, talking about talking about the channel, Atheist Your Way, and I'm looking forward to that. And then a little later in the night, which now that I'm thinking about it, we're going to have to flip-flop because Pasta Mike doesn't get off till 10 o'clock, so we're going to have to flip-flop him. So Pasta Mike will be on like 10:30, 11 o'clock for the Oz and Pasta Mike edition of What's Your Story. So you can only imagine what kind of shit's going to be talked there. And then before that, we'll have the next edition of Behind the Curtain, and we'll be talking about the rebranding of what will now formerly be known as PSF, Promethean Secular Frontier. I hope I got that right. I'm not trying to be a smartass, but that was always a difficult one for me to remember. But so we have that, and obviously I'm looking forward to all of that. But I do have to say, hanging out with Pasta Mike and me being the interviewer, as the great Michael Scott once said, how the turntables have turned. No, it'll be fun. I'm really looking forward to that. That's the brother from the other mother, and yeah, we'll have a good time. We'll have a good old time. And then, of course, I'd be remiss I'd be dumb if I did not highlight the first ever Atheist Network Group live conference event, whatever you want to call it, here in good old Fort Wayne, Indiana, at the Allen County War Memorial Coliseum, June 25th and 26th. Seth Andrews. Shannon Q. Sorry, I won't do that after everyone. Apologia. Dr. Yashua Bowen, Cynthia McDonald, Dr. I already said Dr. Sorry, Dave Warnock. And because I went out of my typical order, my ADHD brain is now forgetting one, and I apologize. But if you go to JesusIsAMyth.com, and shout out to Aaron Coalson for locking that URL down for us. If you go to JesusIsAMyth.com, you can purchase your very own reservations to better right there. You can do it right there. And if you didn't see the announcements on Twitter and Facebook, we locked down the location for 25th, that Saturday, for the after party. And it's actually we're gonna have it at the comedy club that I work at. And my boss was like, fuck yeah, you have all your peoples come in here and party. So we'll be there, and we won't have access to the actual comedy show unless people want to pay for the ticket to get in. You're more than welcome to do so if you so wish, but we will have full access to the bar area and be able to hang out, and the one and only Pasta Mike is going to be live streaming for channel members and patrons. That way, if you couldn't be there, that's at least a part of the way that you can help and support and still have access to some of the fun shit that we do kind of behind the scenes or whatever. So we'll have more details on that coming up, but it's going to be epic. It's going to be epic. All right, and before we get into this bullshit that happened earlier today, well, there's actually two things that happened today with our with our disdained not friend, Dr. Doodum, because I refuse to say his name anymore. And I'll go through the first one that happened this morning, and then what I caught when I went to the gym later on. Because like I said, I haven't slept, so I caught everything. Maybe that's a blessing. Maybe that's a blessing in disguise. Maybe it's just a blessing. But anyway, before I do that, I will say that, and I'm going to say this very, very, like, this part of it very sarcastically, because I'm doing everything that I've been, you know, taught or coached or, you know, encouraged to do whatever from therapists and professionals, and I'm zero, like, Jen will tell you, I brought it up to her a day or two ago before the possibility of anything really started to, like, snowball or anything in my brain. I brought up and just, you know, said, look, just let's be prepared. This is going to be a rough weekend. This is going to be the first Mother's Day that I have without my mom here. And other than Aunt Kathy, you know, my biological dad, and I think my stepdad will check in. I mean, I'm living with him, you know, until next month. So I think he will. But other than that, I already know no one's going to even pick up a phone or send a text message or anything like that to check in. And after everything that fucking happened in, you know, July and August, I'll be goddamned if I'm the first one to, you know, to do it. So the reason I say all that is I'm in a very good place right now, and I'm doing all of the things that I can do to, not necessarily just be distracted, because that's not always a good thing, but to keep my head in a good space, in a good place, and you know, and things that I enjoy and things that I'm passionate about, you know, and all that. But the reason I bring it up, and I mean, it's more so like, yes, if you want to send me a message, I'm never going to say, like, don't do that, because for all of us, you know, those things help. But I was actually going to, I built up all that to actually be satirical, be a smartass, and say, if you would just throw up a prayer for your homie, just throw up a prayer for your homie. And even if you need to go to the liquor store and buy a 40 some OD and pour one out for the homie, you know, let it do what it do. Let it do what it do. You know, so I'm like I said, I'm doing my fucking best to, you know, to stay focused on all of the good things and all the great things that I have in my life, and not let my bipolar brain get sucked into the whirlwind. So, and if you go to your local liquor store, actually, let's just make this a challenge, and you can do a TikTok or just take a video and email it to us. It's tanggang@gmail.com, and we'll even fucking premiere this shit, you know, if we have enough of them. If you go to your local liquor store and they do not have Old English, oldie, if you video yourself, walking up to the front counter, and when it's your turn to speak with the clerk, if you video yourself doing this, y'all ain't got no oldie. Y'all ain't got no oldie. If you do that, you know, if you put it on TikTok or whatever, your presence is probably larger on TikTok than mine will ever be. But we'll premiere it on fucking YouTube. I don't give a shit. This shit's hilarious. Yeah, so if you do that shit, that'd be hilarious. Someone said, my mom's with me every day, baby. I don't need a fake holiday to miss her and also keep her all alive. Oh, I agree with that. It's more so the attachment of the memories of the things we did on Mother's Day. That this will be the first time, you know, not having that. But I already told Jena on on Sunday. It's supposed to be like 80 degrees, sunny, beautiful here in Fort Wayne, and later afternoon, whatever. When I feel like I'm not going to have to worry about running into my brother and sister-in-law and yada 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 there, because I'm sure they'll go there too. I'm just gonna go, and for however the fuck long I want to be there, I'm just gonna go and chill. Obviously not with my mom, but just with the memories of my mom and the things that um, the things that I do still appreciate about her, and that I still do love about her and miss about her, and the memories and all that. So that's my plan, because um, I know I need to do that, because there's not going to be any other support. So anyway, I didn't want to make this stream about that, but if and I'll probably be doing streams or even pop-up streams again, just like when she was in the hospital and as she was passing. Obviously my rate of streaming increased, because that's just how my brain works, to stay distracted and everything. So if I don't know, I don't know if that will happen, but if you do notice that or pick up on it, don't be afraid to to holler at me, just to encourage and show love. And I know you guys won't, but I'm just encouraging, because all of us need that. And I'm the worst at responding to it. Any fucking message, really, but and not just for me. Do that for everybody. Do that for everyone you care about. But anyway, I keep going and going. Here, this is the last thing I'll say. Andrew, I don't. Well, I know, like you, Jena, Pasta Mike. There's others. You guys have way better memories than I do. But there is a. I won't call it a mixtape, but there's a mix that I did for my mom right after she passed, and I'm actually going to take that with me, and that's the first thing I'm going to listen to. When I get there, and I'm yeah, I look forward to just being there by myself and chilling and not being distracted or anything like that. So. Yep. REO. Yeah, that was. I went into Mother's Day, because this is the first Mother's Day that since my mom passed. But don't worry, it's getting ready to get spicy here in about 2 or 3 minutes. What's the date for better? I originally had a ticket. If you bought a ticket or reservation, it's still in the books. Whatever you purchase. The dates are June 25th and 26th. Yep. And then we do. Oh, hold on. I can't play that song anymore. 1 second. But I can play this motherfucker. Oh yeah. Way back. Secular Rarity for $5. Thank you for the support, homie. Love you, man, and I appreciate what you and everyone else involved does here, for sure. This team's badass. And as we kind of now switch gears and start to focus on really 2 streams that happened today. We're going to focus on one, but there's one that happened before that that's hilarious, and I won't spend a bunch of time on it. But a big shout out to to Jena for the thumbnail, because I was still at work, and I hit her up. I was like, "What about this? Can you please do this?" And she was like, "I got you." And then, as soon as I saw it, I was like, "That shit's fucking hilarious. That shit's fucking hilarious." So shout out to Jena. And if you've noticed a huge uptick in quality of graphics and social media postings and YouTube postings, let's just be clear. That's not moi. That is not me. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. That's not me. That is the beautiful Jena. She's at the helm now when it comes to all that, because as you know beforehand, that shit never got done. So huge shout out and all love Jena, because she's been a huge help there. And sorry, I do agree with Andrew. The process of creating something with memories of my mom was very cathartic for me. 10 out of 10. Highly recommend. Any artistic endeavor is therapeutic. Totally fucking agree. And yeah, that mix I did for my mom after, like, I couldn't tell you, like, in order what every single song was, but I could almost nail what was on there to a T, and I know how much it meant to me, and relating to the good and the bad of my relationship with my mom, and yeah. Holla. Well, thanks for being here, Soren. Appreciate it. Oh, you did? I guess that's a great transition. Okay, no, stop that shit. All right, let's talk about today. And let's talk about our not friend, Dr. Doodum. Dr. Doodum. So for those that don't I'm sorry, are not aware of the background here or the former relationship with myself, Tang, the Tang community, and Dr. Doodum, let me tell something to you. Dr. Doodum, somehow, I don't even, he fucking told me, I don't remember. Somehow he found me, he found our channel through somebody or something, what the fuck ever. And he asked me to come onto his show first. And I went on, and I still to this day don't know what the fuck we even talked about, because it was just which any and every interview, it's not even a fucking interview, any fucking cluster fucked shit show that you watch of his, it's like, what was the point in this hour and a half? Did we accomplish anything today? Did we help anyone today? So me, especially then, because I was in a different mind state then, and I was much more empathetic then than I am today. Trying to figure out how I could help. Had him come onto our channel because there was some of the stuff that he was saying. I was like, okay, I don't know. You know, after one interaction, I can't tell if he's just never had anyone ask him tough questions or difficult questions, or if he's just a dishonest piece of shit. And being in the mind state I was then, I gave him the benefit of the doubt. And I and we, as Tang, the community, welcomed him into the Discord, into the side chat. And well, if you want a lot of details, you can talk to Dan the Materialist. You can talk to Monkey for Bananas. You can talk to Student Dr. Ben. I think Amy may have talked. I don't remember, but those three for sure. And I know for a motherfucking fact, myself and Bryce and others, you know, part of the Tang quote unquote roster, spent hours trying to educate and inform and equip this motherfucker with information in regards to, well, broadly the LGBTQ plus community, and then specifically the trans community. And it became nauseating because it continued to be the ignorant card. He would just continue to play the ignorant card. Well, I'm ignorant to it. No, motherfucker, you're not ignorant anymore. You only get to play the ignorant card one time. You only get that card one time, Dr. Doodum. You only get to play that card once. After that, what the fuck are you talking about? You've been informed, you've been educated, you've been updated. What the fuck ever. And you know, Andrew or Dan or someone in the chat that was around at that time may remember, because I sure the fuck don't. I can't remember what the nail in the coffin was for me, but I got to the point where I was like, fuck you, and fuck off. Fuck off. Uh-oh, Neil's in the house. Coming to better. Yay. Up here in the folk Wheezy. And yes, REO, I agree. We can all be dumb and all be ignorant to something one time. And once we're informed, you don't get to play the dumb card anymore. Hence why he's called Dr. Dude Dumb, because he does dumb. He's not dumb. He's not ignorant. He does dumb. He's been informed. He's been educated. So if you want any more details on all that, I want to keep moving. Feel free, as much as Andrew or Dan, or, you know, or anyone else that was there at the time, by all means, you know, if you guys want to talk about it, you can. But I want to keep moving. it was all out there in the public for everybody to see. It's not, there's nothing hidden. So he then has made several streams since then. And one of them, specifically with Bryce, as part of TANG and part of what is now formerly PSF. And there was only one, and I don't remember, I'd have to go back and watch it again. There's only one thing that I didn't agree with Bryce on in his approach, but that was it. There was one thing. And but I thought Bryce was very patient, very kind, very cordial with him, which I cannot be anymore. I can't. If I'm on the same stream, I'm in the same side chat. Jaws is out. There's blood in the water. Constellation Pegasus. His name is Isaiah Perez or Isaiah Diesel. His screen name, but I mean he's announced both, so I'm not doxing him. He's made that public. The name of his channel is empathy, respect. If you want to go waste your goddamn time watching it, which I'm gonna build up to two of the things that happened today, and then per the usual, I got Atheist Hood. You got some splaining to do. You got some motherfucking splaining to do. You got some goddamn splaining to do. Let's have a drink to that. Atheist Your Way, bitches. All right. And the funny thing is, this motherfucker will create like another offset sock account, watch this, and then message me, like still wanting to be friends. And every time I tell him, fuck off, you dishonest piece of shit. I guess, how much more clear can I be? How much more fucking clear could I fucking be? Fuck off, you dishonest piece of shit. So, we'll get to the hood at the end. But what happened today, though? Well, like I said earlier, I didn't sleep, so I was working on some shit for better. And I was like, well, let's see what's going on YouTube. There's people all over the goddamn planet doing shit. And, of course, the homie, Chris Atwell, a.k.a. the Atheist Pastor, is streaming. And when I pull it up, there is Dr. Doodum's ugly, bald, donkey dick licking looking face right there on the fucking screen. With his fucking noise hole, just nobody ever knows what the fuck he's actually talking about ever. But I digress for this part. What I love about what Chris did, and and the other like co-host that he has on for the six pack show he does is, I think his name's Matt, the almost doctor. I can't remember his screen name now, but almost a doctor or something like that. Dr. Doodum had been contacting him to come on the show and talk about science. Well, finally he agreed. But what the dumbass didn't, when I say dumbass, Dr. Doodum, what the dumbass didn't know and didn't realize, obviously, is that Chris, the rest of the panel, and almost a doctor had a little troll job going on. And through the entire stream, Chris was texting almost a doctor phrases, words, and quotes from movies and songs or whatever that he had to incorporate into the argument and into the conversation. This is how I know Dr. Doodum is genuinely and authentically dumb. He even snuck my name in there. And Dr. Doodum never even caught on to what was going on. There were quotes from, what was it, like the Beatles. There was the actual shoot you with lasers, like from Dr. Evil, which is where all this shit started. So first and foremost, I have to say that that was the most beautiful troll job I have ever seen. Like that was the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life. And almost a doctor, like you would have thought that he was in an actual fucking like formal debate, like straight faced, dead serious the entire time. It was masterful. So I have to bring that up first because that dude deserves props because I can't be on screen and not go the fuck off on that asshole. But even if it wasn't him, to go on like that for like an hour and a half, whatever it was, and stay straight faced and patient and actually act like you're being serious while you're getting fed lines and quotes and different fucking words to say. Oh, you're beautiful. You are a beautiful creature. And I thank you. I thank you. That deserves a drink. So then I stuck around for a while, chopped it up with Chris and the panel. I dipped out and took off, hit the gym, went to the grocery, then went to the gym, and then oh god. And Constellation Pegasus, thank you for the super chat for $4.99 US. You need to have Robert M. Price on your show one time. If I were to, I wouldn't be as nice as Doug. And now all of his trolls will pop up in here like they did last time. Ayo. I don't give a fuck. So after that one, like I said, went to the store, went to the gym. Or no, I'm sorry. Went to the store, took care of my shit, then went to the gym. And it's while I was pulling up to the gym that I pulled YouTube back up before I walked into the gym. And what the fuck did I see? How the fuck? How the fuck? Like not my mind, and we'll get to this at the end. My mind is officially blown in regards to this motherfucker on this angle. In the last like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it was, how did he get Bryce, Eric Murphy, Holy Kool-Aid, and there's I'm missing one. God damn it. Kenneth Leonard. And I'm like, what, what are, yep, I'm saving that for the end. Shut the fuck up, Oz. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Save it for the end. So Holy Kool-Aid, for what the fuck ever reason, is on there, and I have no beef at all with any of them that I just named. I love Kenneth. I talked to Kenneth after he was on the show with him. We had a very candid conversation. I have no problems, no issues with Eric or Thomas or like no one in that conversation. I have no issues with anyone, but we'll talk about the end because those aren't personal issues. It's different. It's bigger than that. But I saw that and I'm like, what the fuck? What? Anyway, this the title of it was well, I'll just pull it up so I can tell you exactly. He talks to Holy Kool-Aid on skepticism and limits of knowledge. That's the title. Let's just say that neither are addressed. If they are, it's very little, but hardly at all. Because here's what here, and you're gonna notice this if you've never listened to this motherfucker before. You're gonna figure it out. He loves to gaslight. He loves to play the victim. He loves to talk about him and where he's from, and all of the good shit that he does, and not actually interview the motherfucking guest that he has. So I'm perplexed. I'm fucking perplexed on why anyone continues to waste their goddamn time going on this show. This dude is a waste of time, a waste of space. His interviews are fucking pathetic. They're not even interviews. They're him monologuing and being a victim for an hour and a half. That's all it is. So, and I'll be done. But I wanted to build because I know there's some here. Actually, I think a lot here that we're not privied to how we came into, as far as Tang, how we came into relationship with Dr. Doodum. But now you know, and let me turn the speed up on this real quick.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us today. This is Isaiah Diesel, or this morning, this afternoon. What is it for you? Afternoon, Thomas?
It's afternoon here.
Thomas, aka Mr. Holy Kool-Aid.
Yep.
Is that right? Yeah. First of all, thank you so much, beyond words, for joining me. I mean, they say in comedy you should always punch up, but you're like really punching down by coming on this stream with me. So I really appreciate that.
How do you know how tall I am?
Well, first of all, no, I mean, like, you know, as far as audience and stuff, you should be going on places that are bigger than you. But you do actually, right? Exactly. Thank you so much. You do look like you're about 6 feet tall, though. Am I right?
About 6'2".
Whoa. Actually, I want to start off. I want to clear the air on something because I know you're an ex-Christian, so I know you know the Bible pretty well, right? Fairly.
Yeah. Not to toot my own horn, but I've read a lot. Yeah.
But the Bible says that we should love our neighbor and stuff. But I got to say right off the top, I hate you, man, because you have some amazingly beautiful, the consistency, the bounce in your hair. It's like, what are you using in that? Like Sheen or Jerry Curl? Like,
it's butter. I take a bunch of butter and lather it on.
so unfair, man. I'm the Christian here, and I'm balder than a Blue Jay. But first and foremost, we always like to start off with a friendly fire round. So we're just going to ask you some bizarre, maybe random questions, and just to kind of set the tone of a nice, easy conversation. Usually these conversations can get a little bit intense, but we like to keep things a little lighter. And so we're going to. All right. So here we go. Favorite 80s band. You can use two. It's okay. I love the 80s.
This is actually such a hard question for me because when I think 80s band, I'm like, wait, did that start in the 70s? Did that start in the 80s? I don't know if I can give a good answer on this one.
Duran. I'll just say that anybody knows me knows I am a huge fan of Duran. So okay, you want to take just it doesn't have to be the favorite.
I'll pass on that one.
Okay, all right. Here we go. So if you, what would your last meal on death row be?
My last meal on death row. Oh, that's hard. See, I would have answered you with like a nice steak dinner or something, but since I'm a vegetarian now, I'm like,
really?
Yeah. If I'm dying, I guess
Oh, good. You ever had Korean? You ever had Korean barbecue?
I have. Yeah.
Yeah. I just got it grilled here, so I make that with my wife. That sounds good. Very delicious. All right, and here we go. If you had to own any giant feline, which one would it be?
A giant feline, like a
giant feline. Yeah.
Maybe like a Bengal tiger.
That's a good call.
Yeah, that'd be kind of fun. And ocelot would be cool because I feel like you could kind of like wrestle around and play with them, and
They do that. They have big giant felines in like the United Arab Emirates and stuff. It's like a status symbol. But okay, we got two more. If you were in the CIA and in charge of the torture department, and you had to play a song on loop to torture someone, what would you play?
Oh,
I know these are weird questions.
Weird
questions.
Either Friday by Rebecca Black.
I got that recently.
Or I Could Walk 500 miles, and I would walk 500 more.
Kenneth Leonard actually said that one. But I think pretty much anything by BTS would suffice. Yeah. You know BTS?
Yeah. Korean.
And secular rarity, I actually saved your comment for the end because I think that's problematic. In a different way than I think you're addressing
it. K-pop.
Yeah, K-pop. I'm in Korea, so I'm a little bit impartial to them. All right, and here we go. Last question. If you were stuck on a deserted island, what action star would you trust to get you off of that island?
Ooh.
From the movies.
Yeah, to get me off the island.
Right. And it can't be like Iron Man. Don't say Iron Man. That's a little unfair.
Yeah. Rick from Rick and Morty.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
these questions.
It's not really an action star because I could say Rambo.
No, it'd probably just blow everything up. But
the thing is, like, if you actually look at like survival experts who are like reviewing the traps and the methods and special forces people, it's not that realistic.
Okay.
I don't know if the stuff he pulls would work.
Yeah, he builds like that big old spike that hits that. Like, there's no way you're going to build that thing in this small amount of time. But okay, just real quick, if you
maybe MacGyver,
there you go. If you wouldn't mind to give me a very, very, very short, like 2 minutes, I'll call it your atheist testimony, like your atheist conversion story. Try to do this really fast because we'll unpack it. I'm going to unpack it with some of these questions. But yeah, if you can, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was an evangelical Christian missionary kid. I'm from the U.S., but I was raised overseas. Really threw myself wholeheartedly into my faith. Was a young Earth creationist and homeschooled the whole 9 yards. I did church camp. I was a church camp counselor. I did a youth group, all of it, and even wound up becoming a missionary myself for a semester, youth pastor, worship leader. And then eventually when I was in college, I really started to kind of ask bigger questions. And I didn't become an atheist right away. It was a very gradual shift. I kind of went from a biblical literalist, young earth creationist to more of a liberal Christian. I was kind of, for a while, I was like a Christian who I was okay with gay marriage. I was fine with abortion and stuff. And I didn't believe in a literal hell. I didn't
Fine with abortion.
I didn't believe that the world was created in 6 days. The evolution was, I was kind of like in the middle, but I still, had what I would call a personal relationship with Jesus. And I was still, actively involved with the church. And then eventually I kept asking questions and looking more into abiogenesis, evolution, and how it all works. I started getting a little bit more into kind of asking these philosophical questions and examining apologetics. But the big thing for me was just reading through the Bible from start to finish and realizing that a lot of this stuff
didn't make sense.
It didn't stand up to scrutiny. There were too many internal contradictions. It was obviously man-made, and just seeing kind of the history of how all of this stuff came about. That for me, that was kind of I'm done with Christianity moment. But I was still kind of a deist. I thought maybe there was a God, and then I didn't really all the gaps that I had filled with God kind of started filling up, and I had the puzzle, even with a few missing pieces, that the picture didn't really look like something that was a theistic framework.
That was interesting, though. I just saw your atheist testimony, and it said that the Can-Ham debate was like the last straw for you. And I really am really against stupid Christian apologetic stuff. So one of
that was definitely a moment where I was done kind of with Christianity, because I'd been taught that, there's tons of great scientists who are Christian and from the young earth creationist perspective. That was definitely I was very fed up and frustrated because I felt like I'd been lied to about a lot of these people, and I saw the disingenuousness of it. But at that, I wouldn't say that I was a full-fledged atheist. I had really been gradually kind of making the shift in that direction. At that point, I was like, I'm done with Christianity. And then I kind of became more of a hardline atheist just in the time between that and, when I started.
So you went from an evangelical Christian to an evangelical atheist. That's what I describe anti-theist as an evangelical atheism. Do you think that's an accurate description?
I mean, it depends on how you describe evangelical. If you
describe evangelizing.
If you describe it as trying to convince other people to, shift their position, then I'm not going out and knocking.
And no, Dr. Dumb, this is why I will always point you out as being a dishonest piece of shit. Not all. Most atheists, we're not out here evangelizing. We're not trying to change people's minds as far as getting them to believe in this made up dumbass fucking deity based on a dumbass fucking ancient book based on faith with a bunch of dogmatic rules and dogmatic regulations to rule and manipulate their lives. That's not what the fuck's going on. So the more you continue to do that shit, and then you wonder why anytime I come creeping around your channel and I call you out, well, he blocked me today, like on all my accounts, but you wonder why I call you out, because you're full of shit, bro. You're a dishonest piece of shit.
On doors, and I'm not handing out material and stuff. I'm on my corner of the internet and I'm sharing my story, and it originally started as me just deconstructing and trying to figure out and share my journey, and people came to me. So
I really want to talk about that, your channel. I've been just a kind of funny little background story. I think last night you told me you were up at 2:30 and you're like, oh, I got to go to bed, and then you sent me your calendar to schedule this, and I didn't realize that the calendar was on your time. So I clicked like 2:30, and I clicked. What time is it there? 4?
It's 12:40 right now.
Okay, so I clicked that time. It was like 2:30 in the morning my time. So that's just a kind of funny coincidence.
No, you could have gone in and read.
I know, but I thought this would actually be a good time. Maybe people are maybe would be convenient. I don't know. Anyway, so actually, do you mind? Because I've noticed that you've never mentioned the place that you grew up in. Is that for like, are you not at liberty to discuss that?
I typically avoid giving the exact
that's fine.
Not for myself, but for the privacy and security
absolutely
of people I care about.
Absolutely.
So I kind of keep that vague, but what I am quite open with is it's a former Soviet Muslim country,
Yeah.
and I mean I've traveled to and been involved in missions related stuff in a number of those countries:
Yeah.
Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, Afghanistan.
Tajikistan.
I haven't been to Tajikistan, but yeah, like that whole region, that part of the world. Georgia,
the stands.
But Russia,
The stands.
and even non-countries like Tatarstan and Russia, like I've so that whole part of the world I'm very familiar with, but I don't give the exact country.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I wasn't sure if that was a coincidence and now I definitely know. I don't want to probe any further with that.
Yeah.
So I will say real quick. Okay, can you share the age you were when you went back to the United States?
Yeah, so I was 3 years old when we first went over there.
3. Okay.
And we would have furloughs periodically where we'd come back to the States for a summer or for a year and then go back. And then I came back for good. I visited a few times since, but I came back to go to college when I was 17. So
17. Okay. All right. So okay, good. So real quick, I'm just gonna ask you one other question. And what denomination was that?
I actually I had to ask my parents this specifically because it's a little tricky. Because the church I was a part of was a multi-denominational church. The church I was there at locally, the missions organization was YWAM, which is a multi-denominational missions.
Yeah, I know what that one is.
But my parents' home church was like a Bible.
So we're about 13 minutes in. This is supposed to be about skepticism and what was it again? Skepticism and limits of knowledge. 12 minutes in. 12 minutes. And I'm trying to stop this as little as I can right now because I want it to get to where, well, you know what? I won't wait. I'll skip forward here because, there's no point in us listening to his dumbass that long.
The Mandela effect, depending on what specifically you mean by that, is
any chance you've ever read the book The Invisible Gorilla?
Official state church, and it gets funding from the church, and from the government.
State.
The government is able to have.
There we go.
To be religious and intrinsic religiosity, but yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, so a couple things there is one, to respond to the first thing that you said about confirmation bias. I think absolutely
that you were doing on the secular countries, and you actually even admitted it. You're like, well, I want to make atheist countries seem like bad or whatever, but you glossed over some pretty like glaring facts about some of the countries. Like, for example, like Sweden, up till like 2000, they had you just described apologetics. Up until 2000, they had like state religion, and same thing like with Denmark, because atheists love to point to those kind of specific examples and say, well, these people are like less religious, and they have like this amazingly secular and like clean and safe environment, which they do. But the reality is that if you actually just go to CIA.gov and just look up the statistics, you will find that the vast majority of those countries have overwhelmingly religious population. Now, I know I saw you get in debate with
Can I respond?
Hold on. Yeah, you can. Just one second. With Inspiring Philosophy, and you guys were really bringing out some like fine points on this one about like what does it mean to actually be religious and intrinsic religiosity. But yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, so a couple things there is one, to respond to the first thing that you said about confirmation bias. I think absolutely as a human, we're all prey to that. Like that's just any logical fallacy, any cognitive bias. We as humans, just given the nature of our brains and the way that this hunk of meat in our heads works, we take mental shortcuts and we have ways that we will view the world, and we have biases that we view the world through. I think that the goal for any of us, whether you're a Christian or an atheist, is to try to take those biases into account. So in the world of science, they, especially when you get into like academia and stuff, that's one thing that's really, really strongly stressed is it's not that we can eliminate our biases, but we should be upfront and honest about them, and we should try to counteract them as much as we can. And so that I think that's an important point to make. I wouldn't say that where I think it's a little different for me versus someone who's extremely religious is I don't have a Great Commission. I was not told to go out and share the gospel to all nations. I'm not under any obligation to, convert people. I want to figure out what's true. I want to follow that and go where it leads. And I want to do what I can to make society and the world,
sure,
best that I can.
Yeah, I think you're well intentioned. That's for sure.
So if I find out that something that I believe isn't true, I do think that I've already demonstrated that I'm willing to change my mind because I've done it in the past and making the shift. But also, I think that whenever we put ourselves in an echo chamber and we're not exposed to other positions, we can still formulate an idea of like, this is how the world works and become dogmatic. But I think that there are ways to try to be more objective, and I try to do that as much as I can. Now, the second part of your question, on the aspect of Denmark and Sweden, Scandinavian countries, or Nordic countries if you include Finland. First, the information that you're talking about from like the CIA fact book and stuff is that these countries oftentimes, because if you look historically back 500 years, 1,000 years, a lot of them did implement a national church. So if you go to the UK, the Anglican Church is like the official church of England. If you go to Denmark, there is a
just an update. 50 minutes in. 50 minutes in. We've yet to get on topic. Great job, host. Great job, Dr. Do Dumb. Do little, do nothing. And you would think with the size of antennas he has on his head, he would have some semblance or some representation or some evidence of intelligence, but it's not there.
Official state church, and it gets funding from the church, and from the government.
State.
The government is able to have some say and some influence over the church itself. Now, where I would push back strongly on that is that, and I think you would agree with me on this, is that there's a big difference between being a Christian on paper and being a Christian, in your heart and your mind. And
absolutely.
So how do you draw that distinction? Because if you simply say, hey, look, 95% of the country is Christian, but then you say also it's 1% goes to church, and by default you opt in rather than, or you don't have to opt in. You're naturally by default marked as a Christian.
You have to opt out, right?
Something, and you have to manually opt out. Maybe there's like financial incentives or reasons to stay in it, and there's no real incentives to leave, and it's just kind of a social cultural thing. I wouldn't necessarily say that that's a Christian. And I don't think that I'm making a no true Scotsman fallacy. I'm not saying like, oh, you're not a real Christian, even though you claim you are. What I'm saying is these people claim not to be. And that's why I used the survey data from Pew Research and Gallup and stuff, that where they actually ask people, do you believe in God? Do you believe in supernatural power? How important is religion on a scale of 1 to 10? And so you look at those types of questionnaires, and you see this downward trend and this downward decline to a point where they're the least religious countries based off of the survey responses. So when you look at that data, you can separate out and look at kind of a macro level. See, these countries are the people in these countries are more religious, and the people in these countries are less religious. And I'm not saying that becoming atheist makes them great people. All I was trying to demonstrate with that video was this idea that if you become secular, everything's going to go to hell in a handbasket, and the violence is going to go up, this is going to go up, that's going to go up. And what I'm showing is that the data doesn't show that to be. So it's not. I know correlation, but if there is an opposite correlation, then making an argument that, oh, look, this is the inevitable result of that, it's like, that's not what the data shows.
You know what? I will say I obviously disagree with you on a lot of topics because I am a born again believer, but I will say I do respect the fact that in your analysis that you were doing on, I believe, you were doing like the top 13 arguments that Christians make. You were talking about, so maybe not, but I think you mentioned Mao. You mentioned, and most atheists do something that is extremely dishonest, which they'll say, oh yeah, Stalin was a Catholic or Hitler was a Catholic. That's the same way to say like, oh, well, you went to Bible college or you did whatever, so you're still an atheist right now if you went and did something. It's just a completely dishonest way of reasoning. Because I mean, I went to Bible college. I'll tell you this, you talk about the mission field. I went to Bible college, and a girl who I was in love with like went out onto mission field and got bit by a snake and like died, and that that in itself wouldn't have done it to make me become an atheist, but that played a really big role. And I know that's an illogical argument. There's no rationality between a girl I love getting bit by a snake and dying. That was something like that, and then also seeing just the way that Christians were like, we're Latinos. And so they were very strict, like, no, you cannot be a Democrat and a Christian. And so my mom was a Democrat, she's very humanitarian, adopted all these people into our home, gave her whole life to humanitarian work. And I'm like, you've never met my mom, and you're literally going to sit there and try to tell me without having met my mom that like she's not a Christian. And so this is why, I'll tell you this personally, why I would consider myself a secular humanist as far as the government goes, because if you study church history, you will know that the church has been used to, and the state has been used to persecute like what you might call like a heretic, someone who, like to say
55 minutes and we're still not on topic. And I can even see on Thomas's face now, he's getting a bit frustrated, and yeah, Pat, I'm getting ready to get to that. I'm starting calm. But if I remember correctly, this is about the time, actually, in the chat that I said, I tagged him, I said, at Holy Kool-Aid, you're wasting your time. But again, I'm going to save that for the end. But now, Dr. Doodum, quit claiming that you're a secular any fucking thing. You dishonest piece of fucking shit. If you were a secular humanist, you would not hold and share the views with all these radical, crazy fucking nut job Christians and Muslims and what the fuck ever when it comes to the LGBTQ plus community and some of your other dumbass views. But stop it. Stop. You're a lying sack of shit. You're a lying sack of shit. And yes, I will continue to call you out at any given opportunity, especially when you expose the bullshit that you expose like you did on this stream. And we'll get to the atheist part at the end.
For example, the Anabaptists wanted to have like a full Baptist immersion to get baptized. And they're like, all right, well, that's what you want. We're going to baptize you all the way. And they were literally drowning them. So, I mean, you can have persecution just even among Christians. And so I'm part of the, I'm a Pentecostal. And when I went to Bible college for the second time, they treated us like absolute dogs. It was a Church of Christ church. So anyway, no, good.
A couple of things on that is one, and making that distinction of, yes, there were.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh fucking God damn it. How did I not catch this earlier? Fucking. Now, when I make this correlation, I am not saying, for the record, I am not saying that Dr. Doodum has been accused of, or ever will be accused or assumed of doing. I'm just talking about the similarity and the story and the process and the me, victim. being attacked and I'm being persecuted. So far we've learned, and I know I skipped part of it, but just to get you up to date for the parts you may have missed, you go back and watch or listen to it for yourself. Dr. Doodum has been a evangelical. He's been now part of Church of Christ, which is not evangelical. He was then Muslim, and there's something else mixed up in there. What's up, Uncle Beck? There's something else mixed up in there, some woo shit in there somewhere. He was an atheist, and now he's a born again, passionate Christian, lover of the Bible, lover of Yahweh, and Jesus died and resurrected after 3 goddamn fucking days to save you and to save me from a certain hell. Boy, who does that sound like? Khalil la 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 la. I'm just saying we have a lot of similarities. We have a lot of similarities. That constant need of approval, switching titles, switching names, switching name tags. Look at me, look at me, look at me. The brand new shiny fucking shit. That's psychological, man. Huh. The things that make you go,
Horrific, horrible dictators in the 20th century who were, atheist, communist dictators.
Yeah,
absolutely, that was the case.
Kudos for that. Kudos, by the way.
To just completely say that that never happened, I think is disingenuous by atheists. I left Hitler out of it because there's a number of books that kind of go into this.
He was a pagan.
He wasn't a pagan, actually. He
And Dr. Doodum, I know you suck at this because you interviewed me, and I've watched too many of your interviews that I care to admit, just so I have a good track on you. When you ask a question and the guest of your show is talking, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up and let them talk. You said this is a conversation, not a debate. Shut the fuck up and let your guest talk, you fucking idiot.
He wasn't an atheist. He most certainly wasn't an atheist, but he also wasn't a Christian.
Yeah.
And the distinction there that I want to make, there's a blog post by Tim O'Neill, who actually I just interviewed.
Yeah, that one.
And it's like not the last video I did, but before that one. And
that was really good.
He goes really in depth and examines, the arguments made by a lot of these books, people who talk to Hitler and stuff. And you can't just pull someone's background. So, for example, like Joseph Stalin, he was, he went to an Orthodox school, and I believe he was like
altar boy,
like altar boy or something.
Yeah,
that's his childhood. People change their minds. You can't just say like he's that for life. With Hitler, he had he's in a very political position where he's trying to win over the favor,
right,
of the church and people who were opposed to anti-Semitism, there, were saying that it's not biblical. And so Hitler gets up and he uses my Christian faith like as a political argument. But then you have all of these conversations, from that point in the 1930s onwards, where he expresses behind closed doors a contempt for the church and a hatred of it. But he also had a strong contempt for atheists. He thought that they were scum and vile and that they were just horrible and even worse.
Yeah. He's a hot potato. Christians are passing him to the atheists are passing him back. Like, right.
There was some element of paganism and occult within the Nazi Party itself. I think in terms of demographics, it was less than the percentage that identified with like Catholic membership, but or Lutherans who were not Nazis as well. But as far as Hitler's regard for that stuff, he also had a disdain for that. He saw himself more as a rationalist or a skeptic, but he did believe in God, and he on quite a few occasions, both behind closed doors, talking to people as well as publicly, he talked about his belief in a creator God, his personal belief, his in divine providence, and as well as his atheism. So I think it's kind of a gray zone. So I'm talking about Hitler. Yeah, but history is so complicated. People are complicated. It is. Pol Pot did horrible things, and he was an atheist, but he was supported by Ronald Reagan and his regime at least. And when he was when we pulled out of Vietnam and stuff, it was communists and the atheists and stuff who pushed back against Pol Pot. And a lot of the criticisms of Stalin came from people like Victor Serge. It came from atheists and stuff, and as well as the communism in general and totalitarianism. George Orwell, a very notable atheist, really pushed back hard against totalitarianism. So you can't just paint with this broad brush of like all Christians, all atheists. Or if you believe this, you're going to become that.
Right. Actually, a couple of things about Hitler. One, there's some really fascinating biographical information that I wish more people knew about him. But one of the things is that he was hired like as a spy to kind of like check out some radical groups. I think like the communists maybe, but he would go into bars and like just listen to what people were talking about. And he picked up a lot of this, maybe ideas that maybe he didn't even personally believe in, like anti-Semitism. Those kind of things existed for hundreds of years in Europe, So it's not like he created anti-Semitism, but a similar way, like when Donald Trump was going after the Muslims, we know that Donald Trump was using the same kind of tactics that Hitler was using, which I maybe not personally believe in this, but I can hijack elements of this faith and play to my own agenda.
Shut the fuck up. Any Christian using any fucking country leader, I don't give a goddamn. I'm not even gonna name names. I don't give a goddamn motherfuck what their names are and even what they fucking did on this earth, as atrocious as it may or may not be. To try to use a human that God ordained to be full of sin and evil and decrepit and wretched, to use that as your argument, what's that then therefore say about your cowardly, inept God? Do you understand what you're doing to your own argument when you propose that as a possible solution or resolution or defeater? Or fuck off. Fuck off. Fuck off. You're doing yourself a disservice, and you're making your God look worse and worse and worse. So yes, Dr. Do Dumb, just, if anything, just keep, I guess, because you're not going to change your mind. It's obvious you don't want to listen. You don't want to have actual conversations. So please, by all means, keep being dumb. Keep saying dumb shit and helping the skeptic part of the world realize how stupid this shit really is.
A good example, your channel is named after who? Like, what is that famous thing?
The Holy Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Initially,
Jim Jones.
It was a Jim Jones reference.
Yeah.
I chose to go with that name more so as a reference. I mean, it goes back to the phrase "Don't drink the Kool-Aid," which comes from Jim
Right,
Jones.
right. Yeah.
I found it really powerful when Anonymous and the Reddit community and stuff was pushing back against the Church of Scientology and protesting and chanting that. And
interesting. I didn't know that. I did not know that, because I do live in South Korea, so I am sometimes out of touch with things that are going on in America. I am watching the Johnny Depp thing. That's
Hold on. Dr. Dudum, you live in South Korea? I would have never guessed it. I would have never knew it, because you've only mentioned it 12 fucking times. Meanwhile, we are, let's get another timestamp here. Oh, just over 1 hour, and we've yet to discuss skepticism and the limits of knowledge, you fucking dumbass.
freaking insane. But actually, did you know that Jim Jones himself was an atheist? Like,
I've heard that. I don't know. I don't know if that's true, because I know that he would, enact and claim, various forms of faith healing and pastor at the church. As far as what he personally believed, I'm not sure.
Yeah, but you should definitely look into that one. Of course, that's not.
Here's the thing:
the fact that he was an atheist, yeah, that's not really relevant. But
even if he was, it makes absolutely no difference to the fact that, like, I would still push back against it, because I'm anti-cult, and I think that putting someone on a pedestal, like they have some sort of like divine insight, and following them to your death, like that's
exactly. Dr. Dudum, you're a fucking idiot. You're fucking stupid. And there's two people on the internet that I will openly talk this aggressively to, at, and about, and that's it. There's only two. It's this motherfucker and Nathaniel Dicklicker, whatever his fucking last name is. There's two of them. Those are the two. But to like try to make all these correlations, well, this makes atheism bad, and this atheism is simply the lack of a belief or not believing in God, however you want to fucking define it, and that's it. That's it, motherfucker. You are a manipulative, gaslighting, dishonest piece of shit. And I'll tie this back to the atheist community at the end. Yes, all bad people are atheists. We're all going to die and burn in fucking hell.
Yeah.
So I will absolutely push back against cults, regardless of the cult leader's personal affiliation beliefs.
But the thing is, it's very similar, because I live in South Korea, and going to North Korea and seeing that firsthand, the oppression of the North Korean people, that is what put one of the biggest cracks in the ceiling of my atheism. Like, I didn't become a Christian as a result of that, but it made me stop and evaluate what I actually believed in. But Kim Il-sung, the founder, by the way,
sorry, I didn't want to stop again, but I have to. Yes, he would be number 3. Fuck Dore. These and I know as atheists we're not not just atheists. Sorry, that's counterintuitive to what I just said. Throw atheist out the window. As secular humanist, I should not want to go after and punch somebody in the fucking mouth. But yes, Dr. Dudum, Nathaniel Dicksucker, and piece of shit Dore. Those are 3. If I met them in the alley, we might have to handle business. We might have to because they're hurting and damaging a lot of people, and I have to help make a difference. I have to help make an impact there. And I agree with Pat. I think Holy Kool-Aid is dying a little bit on the inside each time Dr. Dudum speaks. Let the church say amen. Oh. Dr. Dudum was never an atheist. By his own admission, he was a lapsed Christian. So even more backing or evidence or reason to believe that you are a dishonest shitbag. Who would have thunk it? Who would have fucking thunk it? And Shane, we know that I am the godfather of the pause button. You're welcome, Thomas. Yeah, it gets that pathetic talking to this asshole.
You know what the Kim Il Sung? Do you know who his son's name was, by the way?
Kim Jong Il.
Kim Jong Il, right? But
sorry, I keep saying I do this. So pay attention. This is where he doesn't fucking get it. He doesn't fucking get it. So he's getting ready to make a joke. Pay attention to the punchline of this dumbass fucking insensitive, stupid fucking joke. And you can see Thomas is like, what? What? You thought that was funny? This is what we're talking about as far as our background as a channel with this dumb motherfucker. You're going to get just a little nibble. Well, before I take myself off, sexual now that my brain is trained to say sexual rarity. Sexual rarity, that's where we're getting to at the end. There's the homie. What up, Chris? The atheist pastor. Here to save everyone's souls. Ha ha ha.
But do you know who Kim Il Sung's father's name was?
Oh, his father's name?
Mentally ill.
What?
But it's a joke, sorry. But so that guy, his mom was like,
it's a joke. Sorry. Fuck you. Fuck you. That's not a joke to me. That's not a joke. And right now, you know what? This is great fucking timing. This is great fucking timing, Dr. Do-Dumb. Based on my mental illness diagnosis and my insomnia and the anxieties and the stresses and everything that I'm feeling going into this weekend, with it being, as I shared at the top of the show, being the first Mother's Day that I'll not have my mom here, it's wrecking my brain. So for you to just make light of it, and oh, mental illness, and you think that shit's funny, fuck you. And that's when I can tell you to grab that book of yours that you call the Bible, turn it sideways and stick it in your ass, asshole. And I may or may not buy you lube, bitch.
like a really strong Christian. I think his grandfather was a pastor as well. So he actually built a church, I think a Presbyterian church in North Korea. I've actually interviewed a missionary who went there. But he built
Presbyterianism like huge in South Korea.
Oh yeah. See, that's the thing. There's some cultural elements that go on here because South Korea is Presbyterian because they're like hierarchical. Their hierarchy inside of the church works extremely well with their Confucianism. And here's another place where like statistics can be really misrepresenting, because on paper, I saw on your little thing that on paper, South Korea seems really, really, really unreligious. But if you take a look at this, because it's like 50% of the country, they would call it like atheist or whatever, not believers. And it's like something like 30% Christianity, 20% Buddhist, something along those lines. But if you take a look at like 20 out of like the biggest 50 churches in the world are all based in South Korea. And I could take my phone outside, walk outside, and you will see a church on every other corner. So like on paper, Denmark might seem more religious than South Korea, but the reality is that it's like if people don't go to church every week, they'll say here, like, oh, I'm just not religious at all. So they might answer that question a little bit more honestly. So that's where it can seem really skewed. But see, I do want to get on to this next question. Oh, I'm sorry. But the point of Kim Il-sung was that he went to church and was like, oh, wow, I could totally hijack this, the songs, the admiration, the praise. And same thing with what's his face, Jim Jones. He himself was an atheist, but he was also in contact with Russia and like North Korea. But he obviously hijacked elements of Christianity.
Yeah, and in a way, that is what they're doing is they are creating a new religion. So you could say that they're not Christians, but it's a cult of personality. They're building a following. They're having this backstory. These miracles. You look at the story of Kim Jong-un right now, and it's like, oh, he was born under a double rainbow, and there was a new star born in the sky. And he doesn't defecate, and he always gets a hole in one every time he goes. He is a messianic figure. He is this godlike, divine, person. So even if they say like, I don't believe in a god, they are practically worshiping this guy. He has these chants and hymns and solidarity, and all these people turn up, and like they still think that his grandfather is still running the country. He is, and so it's. I wouldn't necessarily go quite as far as Christopher Hitchens, who says like it's the most religious country on earth because it's like a necrocracy where they're worshiping the dead guy, but I mean they are, but it's. It doesn't have quite the same structure of most organized religions in the way to think of them, but to say that it is just completely that it is based in skepticism and humanism, and that or hey, let's go where the evidence leads, it's certainly not that. And he is elevated almost to the level of a deity. And so if I'm going to be consistent and push back against religions and cults, then like I'm absolutely going to push back against that too.
For the record, I did get this,
and I'd have to go back and reread. So I will not say that I agree or disagree with Thomas there, but the one motherfucking thing I will say, and let me go ahead and pull my ugly ass up on screen. Dr. Dude Dom, remember that one time we were going to debate the famous Christopher Hitchens quote, religion poisons everything, and you dodged me like a little bitch. Remember that? That's cute. Holla at your boy. No, actually don't holler at me, because there's no way you'll be on our channel again, you little twat waffle.
Juche, this is the official like North Korean philosophy. I actually got that tattooed on me inside of Israel, and in Haifa, actually, which is like the exact spot where Jonah is said to have fled from God. It's called Joppa, there, that area. Or I think it's in Tel Aviv. I'm sorry, but it's like a little. It's a little.
It's kind of like it's right on the coast of Tel Aviv, kind of.
The
Muslim district.
Yeah. It's really, really fascinating, because actually the spot where Peter was said to have had the vision was the exact spot, or there's like Muslims like living in there now. So, I mean, imagine getting self-reliance and atheistic philosophy inside of you in the Holy Land. I was a pretty avid atheist myself until I had a religious conversion. But we could.
It's so pathetic that you have so intoxicated yourself and so delusioned yourself on this shit that you actually thought that you were an atheist. You sound like Justin Downing or whatever the fuck his name is. I'm a Catholic, I'm a Christian, I'm a Church of Christ, I'm an atheist, I'm a preacher, I'm a philosopher, I'm a scientist, I'm a fucking cook, I'm a fucking toilet wiper, ass wiper, dick wiper. It's like you just keep like compounding all of these titles and name tags and things that don't mean a goddamn thing to a motherfucking person. Why? Because your shit's weak. Your shit's weak. Dr. Doodum, if you pin him in a corner, doesn't have an argument for his belief, because I've tried numerous times, and he says and he states, I don't argue. I don't argue for my faith. I don't argue for my belief. I don't have argumentation or defense for my belief. Well, then you're not a Christian, because the Bible tells you that you should always be prepared and be ready to give a defense for your faith. So get the fuck out of here. And then with, not to make it about this, but Khalil la 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 la. Well, all of a sudden I found reason and logic. Through what? Through what? The Kalam. Man, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck, get right the fuck out of here with that bullshit. How many times were we on stream together and you and I both fucking laughed our asses off at the fucking Kalam cosmological argument? Like, get the fuck out of here. The shit's only real when you want it to be real. The Yahweh God or the Allah God or whatever, it only truly exists on paper and in people's brains. Those are the only two places. Those are the only two places. Those are the only two places that the fucking things exist. Stop it. Do better. Be better. Motherfuckers.
Talk about that one, because that would take probably an entire podcast, because part of my missions here is to bring light on that topic. And I do strongly believe that there is an atheistic influence there, because Juche is actually absolutely positively based in hardcore materialism. So we would have to unpack that one out for hours, though, because I have spent a lot of time researching that one. And it's certainly, I could understand why.
Just really, really quick. Does anybody here believe that fucking Dr. Doodum has spent a lot of time studying or researching or focusing on anything or anyone but him motherfucking self? Does anybody believe that? I don't. I think you're full of shit. I think that not only are you shitting out of your asshole, I think you have shit falling out of your ears, your mouth, your nostrils. I think you're so full of shit, it's dripping from every crevice. Stop it. Stop it.
Hitchens would say what he did, though, but technically speaking, I don't think it's accurate. But okay, here we go. Next one. We can kind of go through these really quick, because we only got about 20 minutes and we're still only halfway through here. But it's a difficult amongst atheist influencers to feel pressure to endorse certain positions that you may or may not be comfortable with. Do you feel that?
I would say to some extent, yes. In that quite a few atheists give me a lot of hate and say, well, you're not examining this argument or that argument. I'm like, well, I have, and I think that those are not convincing.
Yeah. And
with the big picture view, I tend to be more of a historicist.
Yeah.
But I kind of think that it's a little bit irrelevant. It's kind of a red herring. It's like.
All right, so I'm gonna take it off. It's funny because he knew I was in the chat, and he blocked me, and he asked Thomas a question about mythicism, and obviously we're all pretty familiar. I'm a mythicist, so he did it he did that shit on purpose and blocked me so that I couldn't I couldn't address it. So let's do this. Who wants to have a drink? Put your hands where my eyes can see. If you really want to party with me. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, the exact same motherfucker that did the EA show. Yep. That piece of shit. That guy. Yeah, I'm not even getting all that. I already had a stream. I addressed all that shit. I'm done with it. I'm done with it. So if you want, you can view it. It's in our library. But Dr. Dudum. No. But nothing's changed. You're still a dishonest piece of shit. And if this is the problem. This is the problem with your religion, bro. This is the problem with your God. This is the problem with your book. Is based on my reading, my understanding, my interpretation of the Bible. You're not a Christian. You're fucked. You're fucked. I'm more of a Christian than you are. As an atheist, I'm more Christian than you are. You big fucking trash bag full of shit. And as much as you say that you've studied and you've researched, I would have loved to actually have debated you, because I would have ran circles around of you. I would have literally took your belief from you. I would have ripped your belief out of your hands, because you don't know shit. You try to posture as if you know a thing. And I won't even say a thing or two, because it's just a thing. I would have ripped your belief right out of your hands. And you knew it. That's why you ran. So I'm going to continue to call your shit out, because you're a fucking lying ass, dishonest, deceitful, gaslighting, homophobic, transphobic, just giant heap of fucking human shit. That's all you are. And again, there's only 2 or 3 people in my entire life, my entire experience, especially on the internet, that I talk this way or that way about. But when you talk the way you do about the people I care about, and then you just shit and make light of mental health and mental illness and fuck you, fuck off. Go choke on a AIDS infected donkey dick. I don't give a fucking goddamn at this point. I don't. You are such a vile, toxic piece of shit. I don't give a fuck any longer. Disappear. Go away. All right, now let's have one more drink, because now I'm gonna switch gears. All right, this is now where I've become the punching bag in the atheist hood, and I will just, I guess, continue to set myself up for the beatings, and I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. The way my brain is operated, it's about consistency. Are we who we say the fuck we are? Are we who we say we are? So atheists at large. I'm talking about everybody in the hood, everybody in the community. I'm not saying this because we just reviewed Holy Kool-Aid. So please, I'm saying this right now, Thomas. If you see this, I'm not addressing this at you. This was just the tipping point in regards to fuckers dealing with Dr. Doodum and his level of toxicity. But this is not directed or aimed at you specifically. I want to make sure that that's perfectly clear. But here's where I'm probably going to get more amped up. Welcome to the Atheist Hood. We're not skeptics. We may be atheists. We may be atheists. We may have a hold a disbelief in a God. We may just say, no, there is no God. We may say we lack of a belief, whatever. That's the only common ground that we love to go onto theist channels and theist call-in shows and Christian call-in shows and Muslim, and that's I always hear that like that's the posture for the atheist, is we only have this one thing that brings us together, is a lack of belief or a disbelief in this God. Cool. If that's the only thing that attaches us, why are we so quick to detach for all of these other reasons? Are we supposed to be skeptics? Oh shit. Oh man, that fucking sucks. We forgot about the fucking skeptic part. We keep forgetting about the skeptic part. See, to me, the skeptic part is way like so much fucking more important to me than the atheist part of this conversation. I want to be fucking skeptical of everything. Fuck your atheism. Fuck your atheism. I don't give a fuck about your atheism. It just means you don't believe in a thing in the sky or a thing in the air or a deity or what. I don't give a fuck about that. I really don't give a fuck. But any time skepticism comes up or needs to show the fuck up, guess what we don't do? We don't show the fuck up. We jump to conclusions. We act irrationally. We jump hastily. We overreact. Instead of what I think skeptics should do is maybe I should press a strategic pause right now. Maybe I should hit a strategic pause. There's an equation that I think a lot of people may find. I know I do. And if you don't, cool. What the fuck ever. But there's an equation that I use in my personal life that I find highly effective. E plus R equals O. Event plus response equals outcome. I cannot control the event. The only thing I can do is control my response to hopefully get or earn or see the best result possible, given my response. And I'm human. I still don't execute the best I would want to or would hope to. But just the like just doing shit and saying shit and then as soon as the atheist skeptic then I'm the bad guy. And Eddie, I have no problem talking to you with that one-on-one. I can do that one-on-one, but this is a whole nother shit right now. And again, yeah, I have no problem talking about one-on-one, but I'm on a whole nother shit right now. Because I look at what happened with the Jim Major shit. There's a couple other situations, and I'm like, God damn, man. I really thought up until, especially the Jim Majors situation, I thought a certain thing, and that whole experience, like just being brutally honest, it trashed, it completely trashed and wrecked my perception of this, our community, our hood. It completely trashed it. So, part of it I'm trying to rebuild, because I still want to have, I still want to believe that there are good people, and I know there are good and great people, and many of those people that I get to talk to on a daily and weekly basis. But it fucking wrecked my perception. But then when I take more of a 30, the 30,000 foot view, if I can now drill back down to this conversation with Dr. Doodum. When we as a fucking goddamn community want to fucking deplatform people and fucking cancel motherfuckers, and we want to silence them as atheists within our own community, our own people, like our own, this is our team, and we're so fucking quick every goddamn time to do it. But guess what we'll do? We'll go on this piece of shit's fucking this fucking piece of shit's podcast over and over and over again. And guess what? If you were actually being a skeptic, if you were skepticking and not atheisting, you could have went through the fucking interviews. You could have asked fucking questions to those that share your view or close to your views, but you're not being a skeptic. You're not asking questions. But I am and will remain the bad guy for encouraging all of us to ask all of the questions. And yes, I will say I love Holy Kool-Aid, and I loved helping as much as I could at Faithless Forum. I had a blast. I love Eddie Murphy. Fuck, I forgot who was the other one that was on there. It's because my brain's dead right now. Kenneth Leonard. I fucking love Kenneth. I think Kenneth is a gentleman and a scholar. Like I love those dudes. Like I appreciate those dudes. I do not think they are bad people, but for goddamn fucking sake, man. Yes, I said Eddie Murphy. Like I said, I'm almost 3 days without sleep, guys. Give me some grace, please. Eric, not Eddie. Eric Murphy. Like do your goddamn homework. Know what you're walking into, and is it worth your time? And I even tagged Thomas in the fucking stream. Like, you're wasting your goddamn time, bro. You're wasting your goddamn time. This motherfucker doesn't want to learn nothing. He's using you and your name and your platform to get more viewers, to get more subs, to do like you I don't get it. I don't get it. But as soon as I say shit, and I guarantee you right now, let's I'm gonna pull it up. Hold on, give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull this shit up. I want to track it because I would almost bet money. Because anytime I make a stance like this, shit goes down. Oh, come on. I just want to go to the studio. That's all I want to do. Actually, the we've already lost three subscribers, so it's bullshit, man. It's fucking bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. Get out of here. Get out of here. Oh, fuck out of here. So again, not Eddie, but Eric Murphy. You gotta remember, I work at a comedy club and I'm going 3 days with no sleep. So I think Murphy, I think Eddie Murphy. And Brute Faction, you missed a lot. So that's I would suggest be a little cautious, or be careful just jumping right in, because there's a lot of context that you missed out on. Just being straight up. So yeah, give me some there, but no, again, Holy Kool-Aid and Kenneth Leonard and anyone else has been on there. I'm not doing this to talk shit about the individuals. It's the collective. It's the collective. Like why fuck it. I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna fucking say it. I don't give a fuck. Why is it the Jim Majors shit comes out, and all I do on Twitter is say, hey guys, let's make sure we're being good skeptics, and we require the same standards of evidence that we do when we talk to theists. Where's the harm? Where's the foul? Right? I got attacked. I got bombarded. As a matter of fact, I had 2 or 3 people tell me in private messages that I am part of the overarching problem in the atheist community when it comes to toxicity. And those 2 or 3 people are the same people 2 or 3 weeks prior to that were saying how much they loved and appreciated TANG and the influence TANG has in the community, and blah, 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 gag me, right, at this point. So we do that. But you motherfuckers, and when I say you, again, I'm not talking to, I want to be specific. I'm not talking directly to Holy Kool-Aid or Eric. I'm saying you motherfuckers, the ones that want to generalize everything. You motherfuckers will still support and back, or even show that, because there's other ones other than ones that I listed that will go on shows like Dr. Dudums, not his specifically, but will go on other shows just like Dr. Dudums that spout homophobic, transphobic, pro-life and anti-therapy, mental health medication, yada yada yada. They'll do that, or is everybody ready? Y'all motherfuckers will go and support or be on modern day debates in a motherfucking heartbeat, because it'll up your rankings. It'll up your viewership. It'll up your subscriptions. And there's not a fucking channel. There's not a fucking channel in the atheist or religious community that has more toxicity, more poison, and more bullshit than fucking James and modern day debates, period. And if you're still backing that, and you're still supporting that, and you're still showing up on that fucking shit, fuck you. Don't say a fucking goddamn word to me, period. Any questions? Tighten your anus. MDD is still around? I'd have thought YouTube would have deleted that channel by now. Yeah, I think most of us would have. But if anything, you would have you would have thought that any atheist or skeptist or secular humanist would have already abandoned that shit, right? And I'm going to be very, very point blank when I say this, because Dr. Josh is like a brother to me, and he just recently had a debate there, and I confronted him after that debate, and him and I are still having conversations about that. And so this is not something I'm just saying, right? This is just on a whim, right? But this is something that even in my day-to-day life with the people that I talk to and interact with, and that I love and that I care about, that I want consistency. I want fucking consistency. If we're going to say it's a thing, let's do the thing. Let's do the fucking thing. Right? Let's do the fucking thing. Secular rarity. What do you think is the line between promoting, giving a voice to a view versus engaging to challenge, push back on a view? How do you do that reasonably? Well, and that's unfortunately, I typically actually, based on what you're hearing tonight, you probably think, most people listening to this probably think I'm on the cancel part of this, and I'm actually not. I'm trying to demonstrate. It's not quite a reductio ad absurdum, but I'm trying to navigate it in kind of that manner where it's like, well, but you can't say this and do this. You can't tell me to do this and you do that. And that's what I continue to watch. It's well, Oz, you're applying too much skepticism to majors, but then you're not applying enough skepticism over here. Whatever this, it's like what. Okay, so now you're now creating a rule book. You're now creating bullshit that I didn't sign up for. I didn't sign up for any of this shit to have more dogma and have more rules and regulations and beliefs. It's either all of us as atheists and or skeptics or secular humans that we get to find our own way, or we don't. And that's where the Atheist Your Way, that's where that is, and where it will stand is that's what we want to promote. And I will continue to I'm not gonna say shit yet, but that's what we're going to continue to promote. Is you don't have to be a philosopher, you don't have to be a scientist, you don't have to be whatever. Atheist your fucking way. Do it your way. And fuck them. If they don't like it, if they don't like the way you atheist, fuck them. Do it your way. That's it. Game over. So, Ellie, I don't know if that helped too much to answer your question, but I actually, well, here I'll try to more directly answer it. I think we should push back on everything. I think we should push, and even us as atheists and skeptics, we should push back on each other more, and we should ask more questions. Like I would love to talk to Thomas, Eric, and Kenneth, and ask them what steps they went through to vet that that channel and that interviewer. What did they do to vet that, and was it worth their time, and the possible lashback they would get based on his homophobic, transphobic, hateful, bigoted bullshit? Did they vet that process? And I'm the fact that the three of them showed up on the show, and this is me. This is 100% assumption or guessing right now. But my guess would be that they did not beforehand. I know Kenneth did for a fact after the fact. Cool, got it. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, y'all. How many motherfuckers still here? Oh, there's still 15. All right. So this is what we'll do. It's 4:22. I'll spend a few minutes in the Discords. But give me uno momento. You guys might get a little sneak peek to one of the new intros here. Ooh. Ooh. Oh shit. Oh shit. There it is. God damn. And I just want to say before we play it, Jena has been busting her ass on this and working very, very hard in the background. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And oh man, I'm as my 6-year-old daughter would say, I'm sided. I'm sided. Yeah, I'll go to Discord for a few minutes, and yeah, I saw a couple people talk about MDD, modern day debates at this point, especially protecting my girlfriend. The last one I saw, and it'd been a good bit before I watched it, and I started doing research for other reasons. But the latest one that I saw, like real time, was disgusting. It was fucking disgusting, and I even made a Twitter about it. And guess what? Nobody responded. Nobody responded. And I'm being a smartass right now, but so we're only skeptics when we want to be skeptics. Is that what we're doing right now? We get to pick and choose. Oh, we're cherry picking. Oh, now we're cherry picking our skepticism. Oh. Rest and sleep is the cousin of death. We're not related. No, I can almost guarantee you there won't be sleep this weekend. Not with this being the first Mother's Day. I can almost guarantee it. because my brain has already got its like second, third, and fourth wind. But let me share this shit right here, and we'll bounce on this. And I'll meet y'all in the Discord. Oh shit, Jena, I'm excited. All right, y'all, I got it loaded up, and you're going to get the first little sneak peek. And let's just, fuck it. Love y'all. See you in the Discord.
Yeah. This is for all you non-philosophizing black sheep, unwelcome, pushed to the side motherfuckers like me.
Fuck what they say. Tang gang. Atheist Your Way. Yeah. Fuck what they say. Tang gang. Atheist Your Way. Let's get down to business. These bitches got glitches. And you thought you'd dismiss us? Nah. Now I'm laughing in stitches. See, the problem be, it'll be a tragic travesty to come after me. So just know this is how we get down. Respect that shit like a pronoun, bitch. Yeah. Fuck what they say. Tang gang. Atheist Your Way. Yeah. And fuck what they say. Tang gang. Atheist Your Way. Yeah. Fuck what they say. Tang gang. Atheist Your Way. Yeah. Fuck what they say. Tang gang. Atheist Your Way.